everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now I know I have done quite a few empties videos over the course of 2024, but honestly, I think it's a good thing because it means that I'm actually using up the products that I have spent my hard-earned money on, and you get to benefit by hearing my actual long-term thoughts on it beyond just a first or second impression. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me, welcome. My name is Ashley. I create beauty-related content, and I would love it if you wanted to go ahead and join us. So without further ado, let's talk about this absolutely overflowing empties basket that I keep here next to me. Now, yes, most of it is going to be non-makeup related items, mostly skincare, body care, and hair care. But that's to be expected because you use up skincare and body care and hair care a lot more quickly than makeup, especially if you're like me and you kind of bounce around from makeup item to makeup item. All right, so the first thing here on top is from Bioma. This is their Melting Balm Cleanser. I love my Pharmacy Green Clean. Y'all know that I have been touting its praises since almost it feels like the beginning of time. But I thought it would be helpful to also have like a drugstore alternative. Sometimes it's helpful not just for the budget, but also for time to be able to just pop over to the drugstore and pick something up. And I thought that this might be a good option. And sadly, it really wasn't. The first thing that I will mention is that I dislike the packaging. Originally, seeing it up on the shelf, I thought it was kind of a fun sort of design. I love the bright colors, everything like that. But when you open it up, you just see how much wasted space there is, which means it's just excess packaging that is going to go into landfill. Like all of this here is hollow. And so it's very wasteful, and I don't love that. What I also don't love is the product itself. Unfortunately, this was very heavy. It felt a lot like honestly smelled a lot like just rubbing Carmex all over my face. It had that really thick, heavy, Vaseline-y sort of quality to it. And it is very strongly scented. And it just was not a pleasant experience to use. It did break down my makeup somewhat. I don't think it broke it down nearly as well as my Pharmacy Green Clean. But also, I don't feel like my skin really loved it. I found myself with breakouts in places where I don't typically break out. For reference, I have balanced to dry skin, and I am 43. So my skin is in that area where most of my breakouts are hormonal. So I tend to get them like on my chin a lot, around my nose a little bit. Things like that tend to be where I get them most often. In fact, yeah, you can see this little guy right here. But with this, I was finding myself breaking out in places like my cheeks and my forehead, just places where I don't usually. And while I'm not like 1,000,000% sure, I really feel like this was the culprit. So sadly, it is just not something that I see myself ever purchasing again. Now, what I have already repurchased is from First Aid Beauty. This kind of snuck up on me. This is the Cleansing Oil and Makeup Remover. This bottle came in something else. I feel like it was a Trend Food box, but to be honest, it really could have also been... Gosh, I cannot remember the name of that subscription service that I had for years and years. I'll pop it up on the bottom and I'll feel very silly once I remember it. But yeah, initially upon using it, I was like, meh, it's okay. But I found myself using it more and more frequently on what are my lazy nights. Is it really lazy? No, because it's still a double cleanse step. But there's something just comforting, I guess, about it already being in an oil form when I am feeling lazy and tired and not really wanting to wash my face, but knowing that I'm going to be washing my face. It was really nice for that. And I found myself really enjoying the experience of using it, so much so that once I ran out, I immediately purchased another bottle because I felt like it worked really well and it was easy to use and I like having it in my bathroom. So yeah, pleasantly surprised with that one. I did also use up another bottle of my beloved MAC Fix Plus. I have probably 2 or 3 of these left in the back of my drawers. It is my favorite makeup fixing spray, and I really enjoy it, and it will always be a love of my life. I used up one of my Brazilian Bum Bum creams from Sol de Janeiro. I absolutely adore this product. I still have a few other little minis, smaller than this mini, that I have bumping around, but I do feel like probably next year in 2025 in the spring Sephora sale, I will probably pick up a full size because I really do love it. And the scent is just iconic. And if that makes me basic, I am totally fine with that because I really enjoy it. I also used up a mini from Way. This is their body cream in the St. Bart's scent. I love that holographic packaging. I liked this. I liked this quite a bit. I don't think I would see myself purchasing a full size. It has that very sort of vacation scent to it. Very, yeah, it's just got that kind of pineapple-y coconut sort of scent to it that you expect from like nostalgic sunblock that you, or at least I, being a millennial, had back in the day. And I really enjoy it. It's not what I want to smell like every single day, but I really enjoyed it. And if I had any more samples, I would happily use it. I just don't see myself going through a full size, especially at a Way price point. But I really enjoyed the texture of it. And again, I enjoyed the scent, just not for every day. Yeah, let's talk about this. This I did not enjoy. So this is from Verb. This is the Ghost Hair Mask. I picked this up from Marshall's, I'm pretty sure. And I can tell, so I'm always very hesitant to give an opinion when I pick stuff up from Marshall's because it has, you know, kind of a sus background. You're never 100% sure how old it is and all that kind of stuff. And that's not to rag on Marshall's. I shop at Marshall's far too often. But when it comes to skincare and body care and hair care and makeup and stuff like that, you know, you just kind of have to be aware that the background could be, you know, a little questionable. But I know that I didn't like this because I used it a couple of times right after purchasing it. And then it went underneath the sink in my bathroom to be replaced quickly by something else. So I found it back there. I was like, you know what? I've got to use this up. I've had it in my shower for, gosh, at least a year, probably more. I did finally use it up. It did absolutely nothing special for my hair. It just felt like a regular conditioner and a subpar one at that. So it's just not something I could see myself purchasing again, even at a Marshall's price point, but certainly not at a full price point. What I sadly loved was this sample from Shuamura. I really liked this so much. This was their Urban Moist Hydro Nourishing Treatment for Dry Hair. It's a hair mask. I say unfortunately because that is an expensive brand. I think I looked it up on Sephora and the full size is like $78. And even during the Sephora sale, I just cannot see myself purchasing it. But any and all samples I can get, I will snap up immediately. I loved the way it felt in my hair. I loved the way my hair felt afterwards. It had a very pleasant scent. I just really loved everything about the experience. I don't think I'm going to be able to pay that price point. But again, I really loved using it. Another sample that I did actually quite like as well is the Curl Manifesto from Kerastase. I enjoy Kerastase products. I do think they're a bit overpriced and I enjoy some more than others. But this one I quite liked it. I got quite a few applications out of this. This is a leave-in curling cream and I liked it a lot. As you can see, my hair is just in its wild natural form. It's been super, super rainy where I live, so I haven't bothered doing anything with it other than let it air dry out of the shower. So yeah, it's just doing its due. I finished up finally from, oh, there we go, Keys Soul Care. This is their face wash, the Golden Cleanser. It's kind of wonky looking because, again, this is another shower item. I also got that. I'm sure that was in a Trend Mood box. And I loved so much about it. First of all, this is a beautiful, heavy glass purple container. I loved Loved, loved, loved that. I think it smells really nice. I thought it did a really nice job of cleansing my skin. However, my skin didn't really like it. With consistent use, I found that it was really just drying me out, especially around, I've been battling the dry skin around my eyes, inside my nose, things like that. I was just finding that it was really kind of inflaming my skin in that way. So I moved it over to my shower where I was only using it once or twice a week and then using my usual cleanser the rest of the time. And I found that that was fine for me. But sadly, it's not something that I would repurchase because I just don't think that it's right for my personal skin type. But I do highly recommend it. I thought it worked well. It smelled wonderful. I love the packaging, the aesthetic of it. All of those things were full-on wins for me. It just, my skin didn't agree with it under prolonged use. What I do use and repurchase time and time and time and time again is, come on, let's focus. I think it did there at the end, but I think you probably know what it is from the packaging alone. I've gone through countless tubes of this or bottles of this. This is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. Love this cleansing gel. It is just the absolute best. Gets my skin really, really nice and clean. Takes off all of my makeup. Does not aggravate my skin. Just such a beautiful product. I already have a backup underneath my sink. And yeah, absolutely love it so, so much. I finally finished off from Bumble and Bumble. This is, there we go, my BB Repair Blow Dry Cream. I really like this a lot. In fact, I miss it quite a bit. I'm going to use up the Kerastase one that I have that I'm using right now, but I can already tell I don't love it as much as I love this. This is just my absolute favorite. I felt like it did a great job of protecting my hair, but also giving it nice softness and bounce and detangling. And it worked really well. And I will definitely repurchase, just not until I make myself finish off what I have. Because that's a problem I fall into, is that I will start using something like, this, not love it as much as I want to, and then either get something else to replace it or open something else up, and then it just sits and languishes. So I'm making myself finish off what I have, but I will be repurchasing it. That was a really long explanation. I finished off this little mini from Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Advanced Clean Dry Shampoo. Dude, everybody talks about how much they love this, and I was underwhelmed. I know that it is a very unpopular opinion, and perhaps it's just how my hair cycle goes. I see a lot of people using this on like second day hair or third day hair. I don't personally reach for dry shampoo on second or third day hair, but when I notice that I need it, I need something stronger, I feel like. So I tend to use it on day 4 hair, day 5 hair, and this just, it didn't do the job that I needed it to do. So perhaps if I had used it sooner in my hair cycle, I would have liked it better. But I don't think about needing it until I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, you need some dry shampoo in there. So probably wouldn't repurchase. I loved this. I loved this. So this is from Innisfree. This is the hyaluronic acid watery sun gel. This was fantastic. This felt absolutely amazing on my skin. Makeup sat beautifully on top of it. It is so lovely. So lovely. I will definitely repurchase this. I got this one off of Amazon. I didn't repurchase because there were a lot of like posts going around about how to spot a fake, and it just made me really nervous and uncomfortable. So I have not yet repurchased it, but it is something that I will repurchase. I just probably won't go through Amazon because as much as I like Amazon and I'm not trying to trash it, it's just really hard sometimes to 100% verify that you're getting what you're supposed to be getting. The counterfeit market is just a thing that needs to be addressed. While we're on the topic of cleansers that I got from Amazon, my Pharmacy Green Clean. I did pick up my backup that I have underneath my sink during the Amazon Prime Day. I love this. I've already talked about it once in this video, but this is just the absolute best for breaking down my makeup, and I love it so much, and I will continue to repurchase it probably until they stop making it, which please don't stop making it, please. All right, what else do we have in here? Let me see. We're getting down to the bottom where most of the makeup tends to fall down. So if you're here for the makeup, it's coming soon. On the topic of SPF, I did use up this little sample from Kiehl's. This is the Better Screen UV Serum. It is SPF 50 plus, and I liked this. If I was going to purchase a non-Korean skincare type of sunscreen, this one from Kiehl's, I feel like would be a really top contender. It goes on really in a very lovely way. I noticed that my skin liked it. Makeup sat well on top of it. It is pricey because it's Kiehl's, and I don't feel the need to pay that, especially when you have really, really lovely international skincare SPF options, but it is a good one, and I did like it. One that kind of took me by surprise is this little sample here from La Roche-Posay. This is the Lipikar Gentle Foaming Cleansing Oil. I loved this. I loved this so much that I actually purchased a full size one day when I was at Target, even though I already have the backup of my Neutrogena Hydro Boost. It worked so well. It foamed, but not in an aggressively foamy way, but I felt like it cleaned my skin so nicely. I was shocked by how much I really enjoyed this. It is also not what I'm currently using. I'm, again, trying to clear out what I already own before I start using new stuff because I just accumulate way too much, and I'm trying really hard to get that under control. I think I only have two other items that are not makeup. So they are both sunscreen samples. So this is what we have here. We have one from Kosas and one from Summer Fridays. The Kosas one I did not like at all. I don't even think I actually used this up. I really liked some of Kosas's products, but the scent, I just cannot jive with this scent. To me, it just smells like dead roses, and I am not a rose person. It may not even be a rose scent. It's just what my brain associates with dead roses. But additionally, it pilled really badly with my makeup, and it's only an SPF of 40. And as I've just mentioned, I have other SPFs that have a higher SPF rating that I really enjoy so much more. So I did not feel the need to struggle through that. It's not a go for me. The one from Summer Fridays, I really did love the texture of it. It is probably the most similar to one of the K brands that I have used. As far as texture and feel and application, makeup sat really beautifully on top of it. I will not purchase this simply because it is an SPF 30 and my incredibly pale skin just needs a lot more protection. And if you are cool with a 30, I totally would recommend this. It was lovely, but I need more in my life. And then the rest is going to be makeup. I think the most exciting empty that I have is a powder. So this is my L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Powder Foundation. This is either the second or the third one that I've gone through. First time I've broken my packaging, but I really enjoy this powder foundation. I'm sure that I will be purchasing a backup at some point. But as you've heard half a dozen times already, I'm trying to use up what I have before I buy more. And I have other powder foundations in my drawers back there that I really need to focus on, because I need to be bringing my numbers down and not continuing to add to them. I have a couple of mini setting sprays in here. I have an Urban Decay All-Nighter. Obviously, it is a love. It has been something that has been a staple in my life for many, many years now. I don't use it regularly because I don't find myself needing a ton of longevity out of my makeup. But on days when I know I'm going to be outside a lot or that I'm going to be putting my makeup through the ringer more, the All-Nighter is absolutely one of my very favorites. I also used up from Maybelline. This is their Lasting Fix. And I mean, it was fine. The sprayer was absolutely terrible. I had to decant it into something else, but I feel like it was fine. I don't remember my makeup lasting significantly longer. Like if I had to put these two head to head, the all-nighter would be the winner every single time. But it was fine. It did what I needed it to do, and I had no complaints about the actual formula itself. I don't need to buy it because I have a million setting sprays, and to be honest, there are other fixing sprays that I prefer. So I'm glad that I got to use it. I'm sure I got it as a free sample in some sort of something. I just don't see myself needing to buy it. I have 2 brow pencils that we can talk about here. There we go. Excellent. So the first one I have talked about before many, many times because it is my favorite drugstore eyebrow pencil. It is from Maybelline. It is the Express Brow. I use mine in the shade, I think it's Ash something or other. Yes, 259 Ash Brown. Really enjoy it. Already have a backup of it. It's the perfect shade for my brows, and it is, in my opinion, a direct competitor to the Precisely My Brow, which is what I'm currently using because I had it in my backup, but I prefer this one over it anyway. It's got that same micro tip that I personally find really helpful since I have no brow hairs of my own. Thank you, 1990s. And then the other one was from Rare Beauty. I love Rare Beauty's packaging, not gonna lie. It's got some nice weight to it. It's aesthetically very pleasing. I won't be repurchasing it because it isn't the style that I prefer. It's got that kind of wedge to it, which for me, I just need more precision. So I enjoyed the color. I enjoyed the formula, although the formula was a little bit creamier than the Maybelline. The Maybelline is a little bit waxier, which I find gives me more control, but also just lasts a bit better on my skin. It's a nice product. It's just not for me. And then I finished off the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. I've had this open forever. I had to finally call it quits. The way that I liked using this the most was as a base coat. I find that for me and my personal style, this didn't give me enough kind of oomph on my lashes. So I was regularly comboing this with my YSL, which I don't know where it is, and I'm not going to search for it, but I would use this as a base coat and then put the YSL Lash Clash over it. And I really loved that combo together. But this has been open for at least 6 months, but probably in reality closer to a year. So it was just time. It was dry and I was having to work too hard to get it on my lashes. So I don't know if I would repurchase it, to be honest. I liked it for what I was using it for, but to be honest, I would rather not have to combo things. So I would use it if it came back into my life, but I don't think I would spend money on it. And then the last thing you may recognize, this is a compact that I use quite frequently to put Frankens in. So I had a Franken shadow in here that was my second to the last shadow left from my Pan That palette from a few years ago. And I'm thrilled that I finally got it used up. I have one shadow from that left and I recently Frankened it. I tried to film it, but the footage was wildly corrupted. So sorry, we don't get to see any of my Frankening efforts, but this is the last shadow from that palette. It looks very different than you've probably seen it before because, again, I mixed in a bunch of really glitzy eyeshadows into it. So I'm hoping I can get it used up and finish my very first palette off in my whole life. Probably will never be able to do it again, but I will ride that high for as long as I can. So that's it. That's all of my empties that I have accumulated. I know this was longer because, again, I've just been using up a lot of stuff. To be honest, much of it was already open and just really needed to get that kind of final drive home. And I'm hopefully going to be continuing to do that throughout the rest of this year and into next year as well, because I'm in that place where I'm feeling just wildly overwhelmed by the amount of just stuff that I have. And if I can get some of that low-hanging fruit out of the way, I would love to do that. But I've also really slowed down my intake of BoxyCharm. God, okay. Sorry, I knew I would think of it eventually. That was really just out of left field. But I really have slowed down my intake of products across the board. And I would really like to maintain that because as much as I love getting new stuff, like let's be real, most everybody loves getting new stuff. I just really don't like feeling crushed by the amount of stuff that I have. So I'm trying to be much more mindful, much more demure about my purchases. So if you have enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll consider giving it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing before you leave. Your love and support means more to me than I can ever say, and I love you just so, so much. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.